Life update. Hi, life update. I got another dog. Hello, guys. Life update here. I got another puppy. Um, Nala's in the closet, so if you hear her barking, it's because she's in the closet. I'm still slowly trying to introduce them. Last night they did pretty well. Like they both slept. Nothing. Can go in like common spaces together, but because I can't like super and close watch them while I'm recording, I'm going to put Nala away and let Gus still get more comfortable with being here. I got her from a coworker of mine. They thought she was a boy, turned out she was a girl, so that's why her name is Gus. And I was told that I could not at all change her name, which I don't mind. I like Gus. It's abnormal, but I like it. I like it a lot. So, hello, welcome back, Bookish Besties, to another video. As you can see by today's title, we are doing my April wrap up. I'm actually super excited because I read so many books in April. I read 19 books in April. I was so close to 20 and I kind of wanted to achieve 20, but technically my original goal was 15 for the month, which was to finish a book every other day of the month, which I did start off by doing, but then I would finish like books back to back days. I think I slumped myself out just a little bit. I'm not like completely like not reading. I'm just haven't been in the reading mood that I was in like the beginning half of April, but I'm still wanting to read. So hopefully the beginning of May, this first weekend of May, I can get back into it and do some reading sprints. That's my plan, is to literally do reading sprints all weekend. So with that being said, I am so ready. Let's talk about the 19 books that I read in April. To give you a small overview of my month, I read a total of 5,558 pages, which, in all honesty, it could be more, but because I read so much manga and like shorter books, that also kind of like made it smaller. Because if we're being honest, if I hadn't read all the manga that I read, this number would be lower. I mean, higher in terms of page count if I was reading like long 3 to 400 page books, all of my books. But because I read 7 manga, 7 fantasy, and 5 romances, whether that be dark or paranormal romances, that consisted of my genres breakdown for the month, which honestly not that out of the norm for me. I'm always a fantasy and romance reader. Manga is new. Although I've always been into manga, I have only recently started getting back into it. So that's new because we didn't have that in January, and I don't even know if we had that in February. But here we are. Um, this is quite the stark count difference from January to February and then March as well. I read 8 more books than I did in March. So that's kind of wild to me. But let's get into this because I don't want this to be another like 50-minute video that you have to suffer through because I don't know when to shut my mouth. I'm also going to move a little bit this way because on this side will be the pictures because I only own 3 of the books physically. And so my physical TBR is definitely taking a big part for May because only 3, and one of them is literally new to my library, as in I bought it in the month of April. Yeah, me and past me need to have some words if we could, but we can't. It's already passed. So Gus has discovered the mirror. The first book that I finished in the month of April, because I did not completely read it in April, was King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the first book in this like series following Adrian and Isidol. It's something. Don't ask me her name. Please don't. I don't know. Don't ask me. But also, I now have her name messed up in my head because of a plot twist. That's a spoiler that I can't give away. So, in this book, you are following Adrian, and Izzy. I'm gonna call her Izzy. That's what we're gonna call her. And Izzy is the human princess in this kingdom of hers, and Adrian is like the king of the vampires. And the vampires come to the human lands to propose like a treaty, and the only way they do that is via Adrian is like, I want to marry Izzy. Done, sealed, deal. We'll have peace, no more war. I won't come after your people won't come after mine, and we're all happy. Um, we're not all happy because there are some dark things brewing in the background, and the humans think it's the vampires, but the vampires know it's not them, but they can't convince the humans otherwise because the humans just see the vampires as completely terrible, bad beings. And these two hit it off very quickly. There was smut like 5 or 6 chapters into this book. I wish I could be that person. I really wish I could be the person who's all in for smut that soon. But I'm not. I'm a slow burn person at heart. Slow burn person at heart. Always will be, always have been. No doubt about it. And so for there to be smut literally 5 or 6 chapters in kind of threw me off. I still ended up really liking this. I gave it like a 3.5 star. I will want to read book two at some point. I don't think it'll be anytime in the near future. I think by the time I get to it, and I will have forgotten things from book one. I don't need to watch like a recap of it in order to jog my memory because we don't even have a release date for book three. I think there's supposed to be a third book in this series. We don't have a release date for that one. So that's also what's making me not want to read it because there's not even a release date for the next book that's following. So, but I still liked it. I liked our characters. I liked the. I don't want to say I like all of our characters. I enjoyed a bit more of the side characters than our two main characters because those are like a will they, won't they type of situation, and I hate those. I really do. Like I truly like when the man is obviously like being there for the woman, and he's like, "I will do whatever you want. I don't care," and the woman's like, "No, you're too bad. I don't care." Yeah, that bothered me. But I guess I still enjoyed it. Like I said, 3.5 stars. Nothing like new and something I would recommend all the time. I'll recommend it lightly if it comes up, okay? But like besides that, you probably won't hear me talk about it. The next book, I'm gonna talk about all three because I read all three of these volumes in a month. So there's no point in me like breaking them up down by when I read them. But I read volumes 4, 5, and 6 of A Sign of Affection in the month of April, which I'm getting very close to catching up with the series, and I'm thinking I may take a break in the month of May because I don't want to catch up. What do you mean? I will literally, I think there's only like 11 volumes out currently, maybe even less than that. What do you mean? Because I think I literally have 7, 8, 9 next, and I think that's like it. That's out in the US right now. So like I literally don't have that much left of it, and that makes me a little sad because I've been enjoying my read of this so much. I'm probably going to start pre-ordering them so that way when they come out, I can have them and start reading them. But I also need to catch up with buying the manga because I only have volume one right now. But I guess I don't believe that I'm almost caught up. It's gonna break my heart when I actually get caught up and I have nothing to read. But there is an anime. There's one season of the anime. I think I want to watch it. So yeah, if you don't know this about, you're following, I forgot her name, but she is a deaf college student. And so her day to day life is very different from your normal hearing person because she is deaf. When she runs into a guy on the train, I believe it is in volume one, and they kind of hit it off, and he's like, I am taking a keen interest in you. We should become friends. You need to teach me sign language, like saying sign language, because I already know so many different languages, and I want to learn a different one that you don't even speak. You use your hands for it. And she starts to learn sign language. They may or may not have fallen in love. This is the only time that I think a slow burn romance doesn't need to be done. Like this is done so well. I've given nearly every volume since like volume three 5 stars. Yeah, no, I love this manga. It's one of my favorites of all time. Definitely up there with like Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, My Hero. Like it's peak entertainment to me. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. The next book that I read in the month of April was one that I have definitely spewed my hate on Goodreads and Fable for my review, because the more I think about it, the more I dislike it. The more I think about it, the more I realize how bad of a book this is, and I just did not enjoy it. I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was because I had just read A Sign of Perfection and I really enjoyed it, or what. I don't know what it was. I really don't. I could not tell you exactly what made me despise this book the way I despise it. And it makes me want to lower my rating to a 1 star rating. And I know I'm not alone in this. There are very few people that I have seen with good reviews on Goodreads for this book. And yeah, no, people have Bailey gave this 4.5 stars. I'm like, Bailey, I don't know if I can trust you on this one. I don't know if I can trust you on this one. I went in because Bailey said this was good, and then I read it and I was disappointed. And that book is Amid Cloud and Bones by Ella Fields. I went into this knowing it's like a dark fantasy romance standalone. I was originally supposed to read it last year because it was like Raven Haired Reader's first Patreon book club buddy read last year, and then I didn't read it because life got busy and I just didn't have time for it. Gus. Where was I? Oh yes, life got busy and just things weren't going my way last year, and I think that's around the time that I stopped reading. Maybe I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. But I was supposed to read it then, didn't read it. I was like, oh, what's available as an audiobook? And I like to have an audiobook going because I'm always cleaning my room or like doing book journal stuff or doing something on my iPad. Like I'm always doing something that requires that I need to have background noise for it, and audiobooks is like my background noise. And so I listened to this on audio, and I don't know if this would be better as a physical read. I don't think it would. I don't think that would have made that would have made me enjoy it more. I don't think it really would have. I don't think it would have been a single fucking difference because the way I felt about this book was so bad. In this book, I don't even remember what the FMC or MMC's name is, which I do forget all of them, but I don't even want to try and figure out their names. But you're following our FMC who is half Fae. Her dad had an affair and she is half Fae. Um, and so then you have the Unseelie or the Sealy. I forgot what he is. The one of the other Fae courts, one of the good Fae courts, come to propose a marriage between her and the prince of this kingdom, and so they do it. But like these two despise each other, but somehow end up falling in love in some way, shape, or form. And there are dark things brewing in the background that she has no clue about until a certain situation happens, and then she's in the middle of it, quite literally. And I don't know. I don't know how we went from I'm poisoning you, I'm gonna poison you back. No. It went from first meeting of I don't even like you, don't talk to me, don't even like associate with me to I know I'm betrothed to you, but I'm still gonna do whatever I want, and now I'm gonna poison you because you're worthless. To I'm gonna poison you back because you poisoned me first, and then we're living together now. We're gonna start hate fucking to now we're in love. Don't know where it came from. Hit me out of nowhere. Don't even care. Don't even talk to me about it. That's all I have to say. Because if I keep going, this will turn into a hate spew, and I don't even want to. Listen, I give it a 2 star. I think it's more like a 1 star if I think about it, but I'm not gonna go back and change my rating because that just feels low down and dirty. So it's gonna stay at a 2 star. It's gonna be one of my worst books of the year. Hopefully, I don't read any more worst books of the year. So this is only worst book of the year because this. No, the next book that I read in the month of April was Phantom by H.T. Carlton, which is like a prequel novella or a book technically before Haunting and Haunting Adeline take place because you were following Gigi, which is Addie's great grandma. You're following her on her love stalker journey. Listen, listen, Linda, I enjoyed this, but I did not like the ending. I think I would have preferred the original ending where we know that neither one of them make it, like they both, because that gets solved, like in book one. I think it is like the end of book one, it gets solved that that little mystery of what happened to her Gigi and her secret lover. We know what happens to them. So I think I would have preferred that ending. But in this book, you were following Gigi on her like stalker romance journey as she falls in love with Ronaldo. I think that's what's his name. I don't remember. This is like in the like 1970s or something like that. Her and her husband are in a happy marriage until he starts gambling all of their life savings away and all of their money away. And it puts her into a really bad spot. So much so that the mafia that he is like losing his money to comes after him. And Ronaldo is actually sent after him when he discovers Gigi. And he's like, I want you. I don't care. And he starts stalking her. I did really like this. Ronaldo has a mouth on him. The way that man got on his knees for Gigi. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. I just would prefer the ending to be more cohesive. And I also felt like it could have been a little bit longer because it was only like 300 something pages. So I feel like there was a lot missing from the book. So I did give it like a 3.5, 3.25, somewhere in there. I still end up really enjoying it. It's just would have preferred the original ending and things like that. The next book that I read was one that I bought literally in April because I was in the middle of reading it from my library and decided that I wanted it physically. And that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is the first book in like this series. I don't know if it's actually going to be a series or not, but it does have like a companion book following it. But in this book, you are following Misery Lark. She is a daughter of a very powerful vampire councilman, and the wolves and the vampires kind of want to come to a treaty to kind of make things more peaceful between them because they have been at war or just and disliking each other for a very long time. And so but you have this and so Misery and Lo end up getting married and living together. Again, there's some plot going on, and Misery has her own reasons for this marriage of convenience to get down to the figuring out the disappearance of her best friend, who she thinks Lo was responsible for it, because of some notes that her best friend left behind before she disappeared. I really enjoyed this. This is definitely more of a slow burn. I don't want to. I don't want to say it's like too slow of a burn, but they literally don't kiss till like maybe 50% of the book, and then they don't even have sex until like the last like 10% of the book, maybe even less than that. I don't know. I don't know, but like this, I really enjoyed it. I will be going back to reread and annotate because there's some quotes in here. Misery reminds me a lot of myself in a lot of regards, but then I also have there's Lo who also reminds me of a little bit of myself. I think what would have made this book a little bit better though is if it was dual POV where we had Lo's like POV so we can see his inside thoughts and what he is thinking about this whole thing with Misery. But besides that, I still really enjoyed it. I will be reading May at some point. I don't know when, but I did enjoy this. I gave it a 4.5. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. I cannot wait to read more books by Ali Hazelwood because I want to mention to catch up with every Ali Hazelwood book there is for me to read. Ooh, this next book is definitely one of my favorite books that I read in the month. I don't have any 5 stars this month, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm hoping May can be filled with 5 stars with all of the sequels and things I have on my TBR, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the next book that I read was Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. This book shocked me to my core. it shocked me to my core. I knew I was gonna like it. I knew I was gonna like it. I just didn't know how much I was going to like it. I devoured this book in like 3 to 4 days. Could not, and I mean like literally could not put it down. Like I was devouring it. I think I read like over 200 pages in one day. Like the last day I was reading this book, I think I read about 200 pages of this book because I enjoyed it that much. Like it was just that good, and I was just like, wow, wow. I fear it ate up, and I cannot wait. Book two is on my TBR for the month, so I cannot wait to start that because I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. But Bottom of My Thorns, if you don't know, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it is Why Choose. So you are following our FMC who lives in the human world. Her mom has disappeared into the Feylands, and her dad is on a mission to bring her back and find the Feylands and bring her back from the Feylands. When one day he accidentally stumbles into the Feylands, which makes our FMC go after him, and she finds him in a dungeon in the castle in these Feylands, and she trades her life for his, not knowing that there are four princes living in this castle who turn into beasts every night. And then when she does discover that, it makes her a little bit more scared. But then she decides that she wants to help them break the curse and help them find their mates because that's what will break the curse. If they find their mates, it will break whatever curse is holding them as beast every night and bring magic back to the castle and things like that. We have four Fey princess. Technically, there's a fifth one, but I don't want to spoil anything because I don't know. I don't know if the fifth one is going to be a mate or not. I don't know, but at least know at least the four could possibly be mates. The fifth one is technically like an antagonist, like in the first book, from my knowledge. So we'll see what happens in book two. But you have Kel, who is unpopular opinion, my least favorite. Yeah, Farron, who is my second least favorite. Okay, so it goes Cal, Farron. And I don't know whether I want between Dan or fuck, what is his name? Hold on, let me read my review. I think I listed all of them in the review. Ezra. I don't know if Dan or Ezra is my favorite, but those two take the tape. Like those two are like it. Like they are Ezrin. Ezrin seems like the most like brooding type of MMC that I love, while Dayton is like that very upbeat to hide his dark thoughts and his like depression. I would say I really enjoy this. I give it a 4.5, and there's potential for the series to become like a 5-star god tier series because I enjoyed book one so much and the writing in it. None of it was on the writing. Like it was just so good. It was so binge worthy. Like I cannot wait to start book two. The next book that I read was the book that I read, and this was in my continuing series vlog for the month, and that was The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. This is the second book following the Atlas 6. So that means I only have one book left in the series to complete it, and I want to try and complete it in May. That is my goal. We'll see if that actually happens or not because who knows? I may fall into the deepest of deepest reading slumps, but I'm not wishing that on myself. Let me take that back. I wouldn't read so much in May. But we have this. I can't say too much about it, so I'll just give you. But this book is following the Atlas Six, so I'll give you an update of the Atlas Six because I can't give you too much about this because it'll spoil book one. But in the Atlas Six, you were following six initiates as they get into the elite of the Alexandrian society. They are chosen to go to this Alexandrian society for 1 year to learn all that they can about their powers and possess more power and learn to possess more power and learn about their powers more in depth so they can become stronger and things like that. They are chosen. You have as I'm gonna say Ezra again. I'm still about the Thorns. You have crap. I cannot think of everybody's names right now. Libby, Raina, Parissa, Callum, Tristan, and Nika. Those are your six as they go to this Alexander society. And then you have Atlas and Dalton as like kind of side characters who are at the library. Atlas is the caretaker, and then Dalton's just there by his own deciding decision thing. I don't even want to tell you about it because it's like dark academia. It's very pretentious. So go into it knowing that like this is very pretentious. Like don't even pretend it's not. Um, there's a little bit of romance, there's a little bit of spice, there's a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of like there's a little bit of everything. Okay, and I mean that. I mean that. Um, but the twist is that only five of them will actually make it into the society. Um, Yeah. If I thought book one was good, Olivia Blake did her big one with this one. I didn't give it 5 stars. I gave it like a 4.5, 4.75. I still have yet to sign on a rating. I really have. But I still really, 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 really enjoyed this. It was definitely a good time. The plot twist in here, I have a feeling that book three is gonna break me. I have a feeling that there's gonna be some characters that just go kaput and that I won't see anymore, and that makes me a little nervous and scared. But read the book, read the series because it's amazing. The next book that I have for you is Brought the Prince by TJ Maguire, which I started this in my continuing series vlog and then finished it in my 48-hour readathon vlog, which were like back to back vlogs. I filmed them back to back, like I, yeah, okay. Um, but this book is the second book in the Brahma series by T.J. McGuire, which has actually gotten picked up by a traditional publisher. I didn't know that until I was looking up reviews for Brahma Prince. This has gotten picked up for traditional publishing, and I'm so excited for it actually because I'm really enjoying the series so far. I liked book two a bit more than book one because we got to see them fall in love a little bit more than in book one, where book one it kind of just felt like instant lust, love, whatever you want to say. It was a little bit of that in book one, but book two was definitely very much like plot driven and romance. The romance was still there because it was still part of the plot. I do have to say that these are not like interconnected series of standalones. This plot like continues throughout the series, and so you have to read them in order. Like you cannot read them out of order. You cannot jump around and just choose which book you want to read. You have to read them in order, or it won't make sense. So, with that being said, this book follows the events of book one. And so in book one, you are following these two families. Well, there's one family mainly. This is following one family. They are in the Russian mafia, and you have four children and the dad. So there's five of them. There's five books. Yes, the dad has a book. It is literally book four. So I have to read book three in order to get to book four before I can gush over Daddy Russian over here. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, I I don't even know how to describe it to you. But in this book series, you're following as they try to fight this like battle that they have going on. So at first, initially started with the Italians, but since the daughter of the Russian family married the oldest son of the Italian family, they're all in this like big fight together to defeat the like cartel. So I don't know if it's a cartel or if it's the I forgot who it is. I'm giving you a really bad synopsis. But you're following the oldest son and the Russian mafia and his love story. I don't want to tell you who it's with because I feel like it's a bit of a spoiler. You should go into it not knowing what to expect because I didn't. I didn't read the synopsis until I was already in the midst of the book, which is how I do most of my books. Not gonna lie to you. So that's just shock. One. Um, But yes, that was really good. I gave it 4.75. Really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to have the physical books on my shelves once they are traditionally published because I think they have already gone out of print. If they have not, and you find them, let me know. I'll buy them from you. But yes, I really enjoyed this one. These are like quick, easy reads. They're so fun. I love a good Mafia romance book. I say it every time, but Mafia romances just remind me of my Wattpad days. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, none of these like are bad Mafia books. I just say they remind me of my Wattpad days because that's all I used to read on Wattpad is like Mafia and then like Werewolf and Vampire Smut. My last physical read of the month was my reread of Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I read this because me and my best friend want to buddy read it. She wants to get into Sarah J. Maas. And I said, okay. So we're buddy reading these as audiobooks for the most part. She prefers listening to audiobooks because she's always doing something as well. But I like also reading physically, so I read a lot more physically than she does. But this is the audiobook of this one. This is my third time actually going in and trying to read this series. It's not that I don't like it, it's just that I get so far into it and then I get bored of it. So we're just gonna do the audiobooks and we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna call it a day. I also do not believe we're doing a tandem read, which is unpopular opinion. But my first read through, I don't want to do a tandem read because that just stresses me out. But if you don't know what the Throne of Glass is about, you are following Selena Sardathian as she is brought from the slave mines of Endeavor to the castle in Ardalan to fight to become the king's assassin with the help of Prince Dorian and the captain of the guard, Kaol. Um, but when killings of these champions who are fighting to become the king's champion start happening. And Selena wants to get to the bottom of it and figure out what is happening. Because it shouldn't be happening in the first place. There are some dark things at play here. I definitely am so glad to be back in the series. I really enjoyed this. I do think it's my second fa- I do think it's my second favorite series after Crescent City. I think I enjoy Crescent City a little bit more than Code of Glass, but we'll see when we get there because I don't know if that holds up or not because I haven't read Crescent City in like years. It's been like 3 or 4 years since I read Crescent City, so I don't know if that really holds up to my standard of what I think it is. But we'll see when we get there. I still really enjoyed it. It's a solid 4-star read. Definitely recommend it if you have never read it before. Read it. It's amazing. The next book that I read in the month of April was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I am starting my Mortal Instruments Cassandra Clare journey. I'm actually kind of excited about it because I read City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass a few years ago. Never continued on, not because I didn't want to, but because I knew that I was supposed to go into the Clockwork Angel series, and I was just kind of iffy on that. But I'm still gonna end up doing that anyways on this read through, because that is the most recommended one to do. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I read this, and I forgot how long, like outrageously long, the chapters are in this book. Consider Claire, why? Why do you hate me? One of my biggest like book icks is long chapters because they pull me out of the story. Like if you want me to stay in the story, give me quick chapters that leave me off on a cliffhanger that makes me want to keep reading. And some of these chapters did leave off on a cliffhanger, but still, I digress. But in this book, you are following Clary, who lives in New York City or like Brooklyn, somewhere along those lines. She lives in the state of New York, okay? And she lives with her mom. Her dad died when she was young, and she just lives her normal life as a 15-year-old in New York with her best friend Simon. When one night she sees something that no one else can see, and so she starts doubting herself and thinking that she's seeing things when she is in fact not. She has just discovered the world of shadow hunters and demons and all of that. And so when her mother goes missing, she ends up meeting up with these demon hunters and the shadow hunters, and they end up taking her in and kind of explaining to her what the shadow hunters world is all about and getting her into that, and discover that her mom used to be one. And so the plot just keeps thickening and thickening and thickening. I feel like I don't need to explain the series to you because it has been around for so long, but it is something that like I know people still have yet to read, and people are still reading for the first time to this day. It's technically my first time getting into this big like 20 something book series with a new like final trilogy coming out later this year. So it's still technically new to me as well. So I understand. I get it. So can't blame you. I do have City of Ashes right now out for my library, so I probably will be reading that soon. So be on the lookout for that because I'm ready. I'm ready to like continue on. I'm hoping I can read both City of Ashes and City of Glass this month. That way I can go into Clockwork Angel next month, but we'll see what actually happens. The next book that I read in the month of April was Ravage by Steph Macca. I have my iPad beside me, so I was looking at the author on Goodreads. But it is Ravage by Steph Macca, which is the third book in the Dance with My Demon series by Steph Macca, which is a dark why choose romance story set in like this asylum or this reform school for these kids who were under the age of 18, I believe, who committed these like crimes, and instead of going to jail and getting sentenced like a full adult, there's this asylum. There's like 50 girls, 50 boys. And so we follow them as Avery is brought into the school as a new patient, and she ends up getting caught into this group of boys or this society, more like trying to bring down this asylum so that way everybody can come home, because it's not actually all that it makes it out to be. It's not all goody two shoes and this, that, and the other. These kids are treated pretty badly. It's pretty strict rules and program going on here, which I can understand, but also at the same time, this seems like abuse and it should be illegal. But this is what happens when people with money and power do what they want to do. And so this is the third book. The plot is definitely thickening. I still think book two is my favorite out of the three that I've read so far, and I will be finishing the series off in May. Like I want to read Exile, which is the last book. It is going to be the longest book in the series, which I don't mind. But I'm just not in the mood for it right now. I have to be like, I'll probably may read it in my 24-hour readathon that I do this month, but we'll see what actually happens. We'll see if that actually happens. Because it may not, and I'm just lying to your face right now. But it will get read this month because I want to finish the series. The next book that I read was the Volume 1 omnibus version of Attack on Titan, which consists of volumes 1, 2, and 3. I read all of those because I started rewatching the anime, and I was like, you know what? No, we're gonna go back and finish the manga because I have technically never finished the manga. And so here we are back at the beginning of Attack on Titan. If you don't know what this is about this world that has titans in it. It's these giant monsters that just attack all humans, and the human race has dwindled down to very few, maybe like under 100,000 people, and they have built these walls to protect themselves. When one day that wall gets attacked, and so they are forced to retreat back even further before any more humans could die, and they're completely extinct. And in this world, you have these people. I forgot what they're called, but they have these people who go out and hunt titans and kill them, so that way one day they can maybe see the outside world again. There's so much more that goes on. I can't even really explain it all to you because it'd be a bunch of spoilers. But I definitely do recommend it if you're looking for a good manga. I don't know if I would consider it a beginning manga. I wouldn't really because it gets very dark and twisted and kind of scary and demented a little bit. But I definitely do recommend it if you're looking for like a good time, and you want something to hurt you because it will hurt you. And if you're looking for some good character development, world, action, everything, definitely the manga for you. I cannot believe I'm back in this like this. I'm like deep in it. I've been getting it's so deep that I've been getting edits. That also is what encouraged me to start my reread and rewatch because I was getting edits of stuff that I just don't get me started. But yes, read it. I definitely recommend it. The next book that I have is Define the Night by Bridget Kemper, which is the first book in the Define the Night trilogy. I actually have book two somewhere around book two somewhere around here. I really need to my library just because I want to book my band to my birthday. And even on my birthday, I don't know if I'm going to buy that many books. I do have my best friend who's getting me 3 books for my birthday. So I at least getting 3 books. And then I told my mom she could give me like money or a bookshelf or books. I'm totally thinking she's going to give me money probably, which is fine with me. I don't mind getting money. But I need a new bookshelf as well. So she could give me a bookshelf. That would be fine too. I think a skinny Billy bookshelf, babes. Just give me a bookshelf. I'm tired of my Mitch Marks bookshelves, although I think it kind of fits my aesthetic because nothing in my room really matches. But I digress. The Final Night by Bridget Kimmerer is the first book in a new series by her. I read Warrior Princess Assassin earlier this year in like January, and I really, 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 really enjoyed it. And I was like, I need more. What more is there from her? And I got exactly that. I got more from her with the Violet Night, and I really, really enjoyed it. Bridget Kimmerer's writing, there's something about her writing that just immediately pulls me in from page one, from chapter one, from the beginning, that just has me on my toes and ready to discover whatever we're discovering and getting into the world of whatever world that she has thrown us in. And so when the final night you were in this world, in this fantasy world where you have, what are they called? High society, I guess you would call them, like the people in power. Then you have the kind of lower folks. But in this world, there was a disease that has been going around for years and years and years now. And there was a specific ingredient that the like king and like the people in power are in charge of and distributing to the royal sector. That's what it is, the royal sector. And the people outside the royal sector don't so much have this ingredient and don't really have access to this thing that can stop them from getting this disease. So you have Tessa in Weston, a pair of outlaws, thieves who go inside the royal sector, steal this ingredient that they need, and take it and cure the people in the wild, I think is what it's called. And they cure them when one day something happens and Tessa ends up in the castle upon coincidence. And they think she's gonna kill the king, but they really realize that she has her own agenda of trying to make sure that everybody can get the cure and that there were less and less people dying of this disease. And like I said, this is so deep, this is so much between Tessa and Weston and the king and the king's justice and the characters and the relationships, just all of it. I think besides Brought the Prince, this is my favorite book of the month just because I enjoyed it so, 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 so much. The next book I have for you is I read volume one of One Piece out of this omnibus version that I got from the library. I was really supposed to be reading one every day, and then I stopped. I don't know why I stopped, but I did not read the other two, or I could have reached my 20. I could have read 21 books if I just read the last two volumes. Whatever. I digress. I have read volume one. I'm really, really liking it. I actually started One Piece a few years back, these omnibus versions, and then I just never continued on. I don't know why. I think I got through, what is this? This is the East Blue Saga, right? Yeah, I think I completely got through the East Blue Saga, and they were about to finally go down the Grand Line, and the Baroque arc, I think it's called, is the next arc after East Blue. I had finished all of East Blue and was going into the Baroque arc, and then I never continued on. This time, I plan on continuing on. I'm in the middle of so many manga series right now, but like I can tell you the stark differences between each one of them. So I don't really mind it. But then this one you were following Monkey D. Luffy, my baddie right here. You were following him as he dreams of becoming the king of the pirates. But his life is technically changed forever when he takes one of the gum gum fruits and he becomes very flexible, like rubber. Um, and so that will means he can never swim ever again. Um, but years later, after consuming the gum gum fruit, he sets out to the seas to finally start getting his crew together so he can start going down the Grand Line to find the One Piece and become the king of the pirates. I'm super excited to be back into this. I really love it. I want more pirate fantasy books. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. I know there is one out there. I forgot what it's called, but I know there's one out there that I should read. Also, can we take a minute for the Mark bookmark? If you know, Mark left in NCT, but like, look at this. Yeah, yeah, my baby. Anyways, back to the book. I'm really glad I'm starting this again. I will be reading volumes 2 and 3. I'm trying to get to the library this weekend, so that way I can continue on because I don't know why I haven't continued on. I kind of forgot that I was reading this. I'm gonna be honest until this wrap up. So I gave volume one. No, I gave volume 1 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see where the story goes. The last book that I read in the month of April was Faded to the Wolf Prince by April Moon. This is the first book in the Haunted Omegas world. In this book, you are following our FMC, who was the lowest of lowest. There is no Omegas in this world because Omegas have been outlawed, but she is a PSI in this world, which I technically just think means another form of Omega, but who really cares? And so she in the beginning of this book, you see her receive a letter. Her friends tell her of a letter that has been received that all unmated and single wolves must come to the prince's lands to do a mating thing where they're gonna do like mating stuff to figure out if any of their fated mates are there. She ends up finding her fated mate, which who just so happens to be the prince of all the wolves. Um, and it's kind of crazy because why is she a PSI, lowest of the lowest of wolves, and then society made it, fated made it to the high prince of the wolves. Like he's once his dad dies, he becomes king of all of the wolves. Yeah, they don't know either. Um, well, that's what this book is following. I had a really good time with it. It was a really good time. I was like slumping a little bit, and I was like, I want something that's not going to be too serious, a little bit of a fun time, and that's what I read. I think I need some more of that because I'm reading Insatiable right now, and but yes, I read that. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 star. I didn't think I was going to give it a 4 star originally, but I ended up having such a good time with it. I just gave it 4 stars. But you definitely, I definitely recommend it. I had a good time, like I said. So do with that what you will. And that right there, Bessie Boos, Pookies, and Gays, Nays, and I don't know what else. Um, it's every single book, the 19 books that I read in the month of April. I was an absolutely feral reader this month, and I kind of want that energy to go into May. And now that I have sat here and talked about books for the last hour or so, it's less than that because I haven't actually been talking for an hour. If I had, I would die. But if I now that I have looked at everything I have and realized that I've only read 3 books of my physical TBR, it's time to hop to it. It's putting me back in the reading mood. I also think if I go read volume 2 of this, it will go put me in the reading mood. So volume 2 of this will be my first read of the month. So sneak peek for my May wrap up. That's coming in like another 30 days. But I digress. I definitely had a fun time this month. It was while I didn't have any 5 stars, I did have a good time and I had some very highly rated. I did have my mid books, but I definitely did find some gems this month that I will never stop talking about. Hopefully, May we can find some 5 and 6 stars. And Fury Bound comes out literally in 3 days from now. But yes, that's everything that I read. If you have read any of these, let me know down below so we can talk about them. If you want to hear more about anything that I have read, definitely hit me up and we can talk about it. But I will see you guys on my next one. I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon, and whatever part of the world you are having it in. And down below, as always, will be my Goodreads, Instagram, and my Fable for you to go follow and check out if you would like. But with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.